Hello and welcome back to Crooked Lantern. Today we're going to be getting into some of my personal collection that I normally keep inside the house. Some of these lanterns are unique or custom or just kind of rare. Today we're going to be talking about the Coleman Black Band 200A. So these are immediately distinguishable by the fact that the collar or the band or what other nomenclatures I may have is painted black. That is steel, as is the frame. It is also steel and painted black. There are some fakes out there, however, so today we're going to get into how you can determine whether yours is real or fake. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is check the bottom. If you turn your lantern over, there will be some dates on the bottom. So, mine is dated with a 6 and a 52. This fount has been taken care of fairly well, but there's still some wear along the bottom here. What you're also going to look at when you're checking the date is you can kind of see that metal, and you can kind of look at that metal and see if it's steel or an aluminum or if it's the proper material, and it looks as though this one is. It's not rusty. So they made these lanterns from 12 of 51 to June of 53. So there was a short date range. I'm not sure why Coleman decided to do the painted collar and frame for that period of time, but they did. They also used the black bands on Christmas lanterns up to 51. So we'll be going over one of those on another day. Once that video is up, I will link it in the end of this video. I did get this one in a lot of lanterns that I bought, and it was in pretty good condition. We'll start with the Fount here. It's the Coleman sticker with the yellow surround, so it's the earlier version of the sticker. So that's something that you're going to want to look at as far as determining whether it is original or not. It should have a two-piece cap, and you'll have, of course, your eccentric block arm in the back, and just your standard pump and your standard vent or valve. So we'll go ahead and remove the vent, and we'll go from there. So you'll remove your vent nut, remove your bail, and your vent. Now, with the vent, there were two versions of the 200A vent. The shorter version, which came in later on in production, and then what is commonly referred to as the hi-hat. This is the hi-hat, and you'll know that because there's basically extra space between this portion and this portion, so you'll have kind of this taller area. If you'll flip it over, there'll be probably soot, but you can kind of tell it's bluish, and I believe there's some speckle or intended to be in there from production. This one, the porcelain wasn't done very well. It's had some damage. Normally they're not made with this kind of quality control, but it's kind of a rarity to find a 200A globe in this condition, and it's not paint. I did check that. I thought, well, this is not right. Normally you wouldn't have this kind of misstep from Coleman, but it's porcelain done there, so it's always possible that somebody could have taken the time to re-porcelain this, but highly unlikely. Just seems to be one of the quality control issues that Coleman had at this point in time, and kind of a rarity. So next we have the globe. If it does have a globe, you'll be checking to see if it is the correct globe. Now, it is very faint on here. It's very difficult to see. However, I'll try to put a rag behind so you can see it, and unfortunately that one is not bright enough. Let's try shop towel. You can kind of see there it says Coleman and there's a sun over it, and then on the back it'll say Pyrex, made in the USA. So that globe was made from 46 to 58. That globe would be correct for this lantern. So that would be the one that it should have if it is all original. So now we'll get to what really sets it apart from the other 200 days. You have the black band, and I did forget to mention there should be a stamping on the back of the Fount, which is another giveaway as far as whether or not this Fount was intended to be on this lantern. It's going to have the stamping on the Fount that says Coleman and you know, the other kind of slogans that the company had. There's nothing on here that says black band. It just was something that they did. You know, it just says model 200A, patent number, Coleman, made in the USA, and it's just painted black the rest of the way around. The frame, this was steel and this is steel. There oftentimes will be some rust on it then because of that. So you'll see that this frame is rusted a little bit, but it's definitely black, and it's not soot. So another thing you're going to want to look for, it could just be, you know, soot. You'll notice on the collar there's a little bit of rust, so I do know that's a steel collar. The air tube, however, is not steel, so it's nice and clean. And then at the top, there's also, I did have an issue with this lantern when I got it. Or maybe it was with my Christmas lantern, but I was using this as a reference because these early 200 days had a different style burner tube, where it is kind of like a press fit down, and it's a press in there. So it presses in and it presses over. So it's kind of like a little U-piece that's separate. Of course, mine's a little dirty from use. However, it is kind of something to note on the earlier lanterns. It won't look like the later 200 A's. It's a different type of fitting. So really that's about it. If you're looking at a black band and you're trying to figure out whether or not it's original, those are kind of just the few things you're going to want to look for. Is this steel? Is this steel? Are they black? And this is going to be more of a matte black. This is going to be more of a shinier black, as you can kind of see the reflection. Have it here, you don't really have it here. So those are the few things that you're going to want to look for. And of course the dates, December 51 to June of 53. Now some people say they have had some later dates, you know, in 53 that had these parts, and Coleman was kind of notorious for just using up some parts early in their production years. If they just had some extra collars laying around and they just threw them on a couple lanterns, and you know, maybe it had the matte painted steel frame with a black band maybe later on in production, but it wouldn't have been out of 53. It would have been, you know, probably up till maybe the end of that year they were using up a couple leftover parts, potentially. But either way, those are the dates that you should be looking for. And so anyhow, let me know if you have any questions or anything else I can answer below, and if there's anything I missed. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.